Hey guys, I just saw a video today by a bodybuilder called Piana, and he was talking about what he calls the Piana keto diet. Okay, and I just wanted to go ahead and talk about it a little bit and put out some of my thoughts. Now, first of all, for those who don't know, I'm actually a huge fan of Piana. He is a massive bodybuilder. He uses lots of steroids. He has in the past used a lot of growth hormone, IGF. He has used insulin. He says he didn't use it a lot. He is a completely different type of person than I am. He just wants to get big. I think what he was is a former Mr. California. And then he realized that he wasn't really getting money out of it. He loved bodybuilding, but the sport of bodybuilding wasn't for him. So he continued to bodybuild, but branched off into he was endorsing a company for supplements. Then he went ahead, which got him famous because they had a lot of viral videos with him in it. It's called Mutant. And then after that, he branched off into his own clothing line. He has his own supplements now. He's doing very well. He's very wealthy. And he has 800,000, I think, subscribers on YouTube. So he's doing very well for himself. But like I said, even though he's just a big bodybuilder type, and he is very open about using not just TRT or hormone replacement levels, but abusing basically steroids. I'm a big fan of his, okay? Completely different from my approach, but I'm a big fan because he's honest about everything he does. He's open. He's very motivational, very inspirational, about how basically you just have to attack your goals. And, so check out the video. I'm going to go ahead and link below. Because some of the things he's been doing recently are he'll come up with a program, he called it Bigger by the Day, where his plan was, with the help of drugs, to go ahead and build 30 pounds of muscle in, I think it was 3 months. Then he got Better by the Day, which was a series of videos where he would try to lean down and get his waist smaller over another 3 months. Well, now he's coming up with something. The resurrection of Piana, that's what it is. Because he says he's actually trying to get leaner, okay, and he's trying to be less, just big and bulky. So the resurrection of Piana is basically 6 weeks of getting really, really lean, okay, and then 6 weeks of staying lean, but getting bigger, doing a lean bulk. Which I don't know if I'll talk about my opinion later. But anyway, the bottom line is that's what he's going to be doing now. And I think he's a big fan of Bill Phillips. For the people who don't know Bill Phillips, he created Muscle Media 2000 magazine in the 90s, which became Muscle Media. He created EAS supplements before they threw him out of his own company. Kind of the same thing that happened with Apple. But anyway, he would have a lot of, he wrote some best-selling books, but he had a lot of physique transformations and challenges in his magazines that promoted his magazine. It also promoted his supplements. So what Piana is doing is basically the same thing. He's, making his YouTube channel more popular. And this time he's actually giving prizes to people, so he's going to be doing, some publicity for his supplements and for his clothing line. But anyway, like I said, let's just talk, because in the video today that I'm going to have linked below, he talked about his keto diet. He called it Piano Keto. And I'm just going to throw out some of my thoughts, okay? No particular order. This is just what I thought after I watched the video a couple times. Okay, first of all, I get him. Okay, when he's calling it the Piana keto diet. And he's because he's using, carbs. I just made a video yesterday about carb cycling and carb timing. And he's doing basically a carb timing workout or a diet plan. And, he's well, if I put carbs in, everybody's going to tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And that's not keto. So I'm calling it the Piana keto diet. So I feel him there. And I will get into, in another video, the semantics, the terminology between, for instance, Gironda's max definition diet, meat, eggs, and water diet, steak and eggs diet, what the differences are and how all of that stuff evolved. So that's something I thought I had to laugh at when he's he calls it the Piana keto diet, because if he just said he's doing a keto diet, people would be like, you're eating carbs, that's not right, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, even though he's in great shape. So Then after that, what he said is he's going to be, what he's going to be doing is eating carbs just after his workout. Okay, and what he says is, you'll flatten out, and I've talked about this in other videos, like the muscle glycogen will go down in your muscles as you use it up because you're not eating carbs to replace it, but you're burning it when you work out, and then your muscles will get flat. Okay, so he's like, oh, you need to have muscle glycogen, to keep your muscles pumped up, to be able to gain, to not lose muscle, and he says he takes it in after his workout. Now, the interesting thing is, what he said is if you take it before and after your workout, you're not really going to have it absorbed into your body as much, because what you're going to be doing is you're still going to have some carbs, some glycogen in your muscles from before workout meal, and then the after workout meal won't be absorbed as much. Whereas if he only has one meal a day after he works out, that's when the carbs will go right into his muscle, spike his insulin, which, like I said, you actually do want sometimes after a workout. So that's his reasoning. Now let's talk about this. My anaerobics diet is carb timing, and I have you eating carbs before and after. Now let's talk about why this is, as opposed to him. What he does is, and he does volume training. He says he loves the gym. He does the old Arnold Schwarzenegger, go in the gym and do 10 sets of this and 10 sets of that and just work out for several hours a day. But still, it's just weightlifting. Okay? And when I was doing my carb timing, I was on my anaerobics diet, my anaerobics workout program as well. And I would just absolutely torch every single milligram, microgram of carbohydrates, glycogen, whatever in my body during the workout. Okay, so I would have like a banana, with some almond milk and whatever in my shake before I worked out. But I would do, like, let's say twice a week, I would do some bridging, planking, core work, and then I would go ahead and I'd hit like 5 sets of 2 minutes of jump rope with 30 seconds in between. Okay, rest. Then I would do 10 sets of 1 minute with 15 seconds in between. So you're automatically doing like 20 minutes of work, and it's almost 30 minutes including rest, and you're really killing yourself the whole time. And it's not like you're looking like, yeah, la 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 la, I'm just going to. No, the fitter you get, the more you jump. So like, let's say you jump, like 80 times in 2 minutes. Well, now you might be jumping 120, 130, times in 2 minutes when you get more fit. So you're doing more work in this, in this shorter amount of time. Another thing that I used to do is the 5-minute intervals. I would just do them as quickly as I can, like a really fast jog, okay, as quickly as I could. And then when I did 10 minutes, the 10 sets of 1 minute, what I would do is I would do like the first 10 seconds, I would sprint. And then I'd go ahead at a pretty good pace. And then the last 10 seconds, I'd sprint. And then after a while, I got to the point where I would do the first 15 seconds of every minute, I'd sprint, jump rope, sprinting. And then I go a little bit slower for the next 30 seconds. And then the last 15 seconds, I would just sprint. So I was just absolutely torching all the glycogen in my body. And, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when I wasn't jumping rope, I would do plyometrics with very little rest. Upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. And then like 12 sets of 10 burpees. And basically, I would just totally destroy, like, not destroy my body, but basically just flush all of the glycogen out of my body, burn everything up. So I was depleted after the workout, okay? So that's like an idea of like, depending upon how a person works out, you're going to have to, like, I started recently doing diet coaching, okay? And it's going to be official. I'm going to have the new webpage and everything, tomorrow, maybe the day after. But like, even if I just do diet coaching, I need to know exactly what a person's doing in the gym, because like I said, with him, he doesn't need carbs before his workout. He just needs them afterwards, because he's not going to burn a whole lot of carbs during his weight workout. Whereas with me, I would just completely be depleted after my workout, even though I had a carb meal before, and then afterwards I'd go ahead and I take in my carbs, okay? Another thing is he says he's only getting in 60 grams of carbs after his workout, okay? And he's huge. I know he was trying to get around 300 pounds when he did that bigger by the day. I don't know how much he weighs now, but it's a lot. He's got at least like 100 pounds on me probably. And he's only taking in 60. He says he took in 40 grams of carbs after his workout for a while, wasn't really feeling it, wasn't like getting, his muscles weren't as full as they could be. He wasn't really gaining muscle as he could be. So he went ahead after his workout, bumped it up to 60, and he says he feels good. I was also getting, like 60, 80 grams of carbs after I worked out, okay? So you need to think about that, like I said, like on one hand, it's like he's a lot bigger, and I'm eating 2 meals of carbs, and I'm also eating, a lot more carbs. But like I said, I am really, 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 really depleting myself during my workouts. So, most people would think him being bigger, he would need more carbohydrates than me being smaller. Most people would think him working out for like a couple hours in a row, several, 3 or 4 hours in a row maybe, that he would need more carbohydrates than me. But like I said, I'm doing like a 45-minute workout, less than an hour of workout, but it is so intense that because of that, I still need carbs, like more carbs than him, okay? So like, that's the thing, like, okay, what kind of a workout are you doing? What kind of shape are you in? How much do you weigh? Is it mostly fat or mostly muscle? A lot of things come together, your goals, a lot of things come together when you determine how you're going to do carb timing and exactly, how much and when and at what times you're going ahead and do carb timing. Other than that, he talked about a couple of his meals, like his breakfast meal, he says, was like fasted cardio, fasted vacuums, go ahead and make a shake. He said the whole time, real food and, protein powders and everything are junk. So he made like a BCAA supplement. He made like a supplement to support your liver when you're on steroids. He made a pre-workout supplement. Then all of a sudden he made his carbohydrate powder supplement. But he's called it real food because it's basically just powdered yams and blueberries and whatever. Now he has a protein powder. After saying for years that protein powder is not good and and weight gainers aren't good, he makes a protein powder, which is basically just extremely expensive egg white powder. But I digress. The bottom line is that's going to be his breakfast after he does his fasted vacuums and cardio. He's going to have like almond milk, almond butter, and almond butter, and his egg white protein. Okay. Now, once again, that's very interesting the way he's doing that, because he's not really getting in a lot of like cholesterol. He called it good fat. He's not a lot of cholesterol, not a lot of saturated fat, which leads me to believe that if he was in the past having problems maintaining his muscle mass, keeping his muscles pumped, building muscle mass without carbohydrates, it may have to do with he was eating these really clean fats, these so-called healthy fats. And like if he was going to do something like I do, where I'll drink raw eggs with half and half, I'll drink raw eggs with heavy cream, I'll throw milk and egg protein into that, he might have had different results than if he tried to eat so clean, okay? And that's basically, he says he's going to do 4 meals a day, 1 meal with carbohydrates right after he works out. I thought it was very funny too, speaking of like, these are just my thoughts. This is just what I was thinking while I was watching, the video. One thing I thought was funny is he's talking about egg whites. He's like, oh, use my egg white protein powder if you can't afford it. He says he used to use 24/7 egg whites or go to the store and get, egg whites. And he's like, but don't use real egg whites because, it's going to give you, and he couldn't pronounce salmonella. His girlfriend was holding the camera and had to, so it's a salmonella you're talking about. And he's like, you're going to get salmonella. Don't use egg whites. It's dangerous. I've already talked about this, okay? First of all, it's not really dangerous, okay? Second, because it's very rare it's going to happen. Second, if it happens, it's going to be on the shell of the egg. Third, Rich Piana is fucking loaded. This guy is, he's like, got like a Bentley, a Maserati, he's got like several cars in his garage, and like his junk car is like a brand new stock Mercedes. It's like, okay, great, and he's got a BMW too. So I mean, this guy is doing very well with all of his businesses, and he can afford organic eggs, organic free range eggs. Very rare that they're going to have salmonella. I've spoken about this before, but he could certainly afford the kind of eggs that very rare they're going to have salmonella. But that's neither here nor there. What I really wanted to talk about is the guy uses steroids. Okay, he cycles off, but in general, this guy uses steroids most of the time. He has, in the past, used IGF, insulin-like growth factor. Okay, he has in the past for a long time used growth hormone. Okay, which he says is probably the reason. He says his shoe size increased, his hat size increased, because like his bones in his skull, and his hands and his feet, his glove size, everything increased, and his gut. He says he's like always trying to get his gut smaller because his gut increased. He never really used insulin a lot, but he has used it once in a while. Okay, what I'm basically trying to get to is like he does all of this, and then he's like, "But don't fucking drink a raw egg; it will kill you." I was like, Jesus, I've talked about this before. It's rare it's going to happen. If it happens, that you have salmonella, it's going to be on the shelf. So if you're careful, it won't happen. That you'll get sick from it. If you use organic or free range, you're not going to get sick from it because it's very rare that, unless they're bunched together in a cage, that, chickens, have salmonella in their eggs. And the thing is, the worst thing that happens is you might have a little tummy ache and you might produce green feces. Okay. And, the fact of the matter is, if you're healthier, okay, if you're healthy, salmonella is not really that bad. I mean, a lot of people probably had salmonella and they had like some weird feces stuff going on, and they had like a little bit of a cramp or something in their stomach. It was probably like, hey, you may have gotten salmonella and you just really didn't know it because it wasn't that bad because you're pretty healthy. And salmonella doesn't just come from raw eggs. Like people will take, what is it Thousand Island dressing or whatever. There are certain types of salad dressing where they have raw eggs in them. If you have like a sunny side up egg, like I know when I came back to America and I would order like a sunny side up egg in a diner, people would be like, I want you to be aware that you are possibly exposing yourself to salmonella, and I was like, oh my God, sorry, whatever, I'll take it anyway. What I'm basically trying to get at here is salmonella is not a big goddamn deal, especially if you're healthy. And this guy shoots every chemical known to mankind into his body. It still does it to this day. And he's like, don't take raw eggs. That shit will kill you. Growth hormone's so healthy for you. Anyway, like I said, link to his video in the description. I'm really looking forward to seeing